Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's episode. We're going to be exploring the nature of personal crisis today, and in particular, what's referred to as midlife crisis. I've often looked at midlife crisis through a particularly different vantage point and come to ask, is it a crisis or is it actually an opportunity in disguise? Crisis suggests a circumstance or a situation that troubles us we didn't want. But when we learn to come out of our script for life, we can look at the crisis as an opportunity. For those of you who are familiar with my personal life story, I approached my midlife crisis in my early 40s as an enormous midlife opportunity to rethink and to reframe my meaning, my purpose in life, what I valued in relationships, and what I would be seeking in terms of a career that could give me greater fulfillment. The first takeaway on my behavior is those around me said, uh-oh, midlife crisis. No, midlife opportunity. Why is it that these things typically occur in what we call middle age, but middle age can be any age? Well, early in life, we tend to follow a script for what we think will bring us happiness and fulfillment, and we conform with reasonable or what we think are reasonable expectations. When we come out of that script and out of that conformity, people look at us like there's something wrong with us. They don't reflect, maybe I should be doing the same thing. I recall shortly after college, as I made some decisions about where I'd live, what my job and work would look like, it seemed to me that life could look like the conveyor belt. You take a step onto the conveyor belt of life and it just goes, and you lose a personal sense of being the author of your own life. We get focused on our goals and achievements, a job, a raise, a better job, a relationship, falling in love, getting engaged, getting married. It's all part of I'll be happy when. But we keep kicking the can of happiness down the road. I'll be happy after I fall in love and get married. I'll be happy when I get my dream house. I'll be happy when I have kids. I'll be happy when the kids are a little older and can sleep through the night. You know, just following this script, this elusive script for happiness, it's silly to think that we shouldn't have to make adjustments along the way and just follow out the conforming script for happiness. So it's not unusual that at a certain point in life, we realize I'm not feeling the way I should be feeling. That discontent should tell us something. Do we surrender to the discontent and just live out life conforming? That often looks like depression. Or do we engage the situation and look for an opportunity through the crisis? Now, midlife crises typically fall into two areas, but they're not limited to that, and that's relationship and career. But they're not static. Relationships, careers, marriages, do we choose to evolve, to learn and grow? You know, think about a football game. The offensive team goes into a huddle. They have a plan, just like we have a plan for life. They know what play they're going to run. And when they come out of the huddle and everyone lines up, if the quarterback notices that something isn't the way it should be, he calls what's called an audible. He changes the game plan and the script. He's adapting to something he sees. We need to be able to call audibles in our own life. If a crisis is of a personal nature, we need to explore, consider what gives me greater meaning, fulfillment. Why am I feeling some dissatisfaction? We have to actually allow ourselves to step off the conveyor belt of conformity and realize it isn't a crisis. It's actually taking charge of our life. It's not letting life happen to me. Crisis is what happens when we come out of routine and conformity and other people apply this word crisis to us. You may or may not feel yourself that you're in crisis. But if you just release the desire to address what's troubling you, what isn't good enough, you may go to sleep in life and feel depressed. It becomes a comfort zone, or actually a familiar zone. You see, it's not really comfortable. We just stay glued in the familiar. Now, there are external crises that come into our lives that we weren't seeking. They don't usually fall in the category of midlife crises. The Great Recession created crisis. There are health crises. These are all unwanted experiences that take us way out of our comfort zone. So the crisis can be financial, relationship, health, or spiritual. And these are upsets that we try to avoid. Sometimes we can't. Going back to the idea of the Great Recession, that crisis, which created financial havoc in so many lives, created opportunities to rethink life, work, fulfillment, family. I was interested in looking up the definition for crisis recently, and it said, a crisis is a crucial or decisive point or situation, a turning point. I focused on the term turning point, and I asked myself, but toward where are we turning? Are we turning back in retreat into the familiar zone that didn't serve us? Or are we turning and asking, what's the opportunities that await me? What are the new experiences that I long to have? Midlife crisis is often just a cultural statement about somebody making abrupt changes in their lives. Now, I'm not proposing that buying an expensive sports car or having an affair is the proper way to deal with midlife change. I understand these phenomenon, but I'm not proposing that that's what a midlife crisis is. A midlife opportunity is our ability to step back and look at the path we're on, what our conveyor belt of life is, and ask ourselves, our partners, and those close to us, does this suit you? Does this suit me? The crisis has to be a turning point. Now, in what direction we turn is of our choosing. But this ability to turn in a new direction, to look for new opportunities, that is the stuff of resilience. Life is hard. Life brings challenges. Resilience is the ability to bounce back, to fall down, to unravel, and to put yourself back together, but not in the way that you used to be, to put yourself back together in a new, adaptive, evolving, growing sense of yourself. People tend to want other people, friends, relatives, family, to conform to normal patterns of expectation. Conforming can be fine and adaptive, and conforming can be deadening and life limiting. You need to take the risk and not worry about what other people think and find your path. Hopefully, it's an authentic path. And for it to be an authentic path of change and opportunity, we cannot be driven by fear. In future episodes, I'll be discussing more on the nature of crisis and seeing it as opportunity. And we will also be exploring the relationship between chaos and order. Too much order, not allowing enough chaos, just destroys our creativity and our mindfulness. Well, until next time, be well. I look forward to speaking with you again. Bye for now.